basically, for my mom's side of the family, it was a lot of the same thing where my mom just basically told her side of the family, like, hey, this is what's going on. I don't think she told my grandma on that side, just because she's old and it might scare her. But otherwise, like, all my mom's sisters, my aunts know. So, and they're really, really cool. So basically my parents were just like, we're gonna take hold of this, and they kind of wanted me to, but like, they were just sort of, I think it worked out fine with them going and just being like, hey, like, if you have any questions, they told them to, if they have any questions, to go to me, and I think that's a good thing, because I don't mind being, like, talking to them about stuff if they want to know anything. And that's what my grandma ended up doing at one point, on my dad's side, the one who does.
She ended up asking you questions?
Ended up going to lunch with me and just being like, hey, I just want, be filled in on what's going on. And
that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a good system. I don't know. I'm sure it doesn't work for every family, but it really worked well for me.
That might be that might be kind of a good idea to do. You just kind of like maybe take a couple of your family members out and just kind of explain it to them.
Mm-hmm. I think it really helps if they just can just hear it from you and not from, especially because when it's gossip running around the family, it gets kind of tainted almost.
Oh, yeah.
So do.
And so it's good to just sort of, before anyone finds out, like, just sort of go in and talk. Because that way no one gets hurt, and they're not like, well, why didn't I hear this? Why did this person hear this and I didn't hear it? Like, why did you go to them first, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to sort of, I think, personally just sit those people that won't, like, be, especially, like, abusive, that will listen to you, to an extent, will just sit and listen to what you have to say, and just let them know that you're also there as a resource for them to go to. Like, if they, like, want to know more, that you can either give them resources or you're open to talk to them and explain things to them. I think that's important for your family especially.
Yeah. Another thing that might help, that I was just kind of thinking about when you were talking about that, is with going home for the holidays and Thanksgiving coming up so soon, and odds are we'll see like a large amount of our family. Maybe it can help to write a letter, like a personal letter or a phone call to some of your family members, just kind of saying, hey, like, I just want to let you know, like, I still love you, and like you're and like just kind of like a love you letter to like them, as well as like, I want to let you know that I'm going through some changes and you may be noticing some things that are a little different, and maybe just kind of address that on a little more personal note, so that way it's not so much of a shock to them, or like I guess a good term would be shock to them when they see you over the holidays, and kind of give them maybe some time to kind of like, okay, like, because if you are going through transition and you have had some steps towards changing and your family doesn't know yet and they haven't seen you in a while, they might kind of it might be hard, because in the sense of you coming out and that sort of stuff, like, you've had time to, like, we've all had time to like kind of learn and get to know ourselves and embrace who we are, yet all of our families might not have necessarily had the chance to embrace and know us on that level.
I think it definitely it depends on your family type and the different kind of families, but I think it's really, like, good idea for like close-knit families that maybe don't see each other much, like you're kind of close with your family but you maybe don't see them as often, or you don't talk to them maybe about those certain kind of things. It's definitely a good idea to just keep in touch with them. I think it just shows that you care, and I think that really matters is that you do care, you want their support in your life.
Brings me to something that I wanted to talk about, which was when I guess you come out, just like give your family time, but also be open with like the people that you care about most. Thinking about like my coming out process and like realizing that I'm trans and whatnot, I think one of the first things that like I think I would go back and do that I didn't do is like be more open with my mom about it, just because she's like struggling with it now, and I know she'll need like more time to like process it and whatnot. But that's definitely something that would change.
I think something a lot of people have to realize, I know you've probably heard it before, but when you're coming out to your parents, it's like you've had like years to really come to this conclusion and deal with it, while we expect them to come to the to deal with it and immediately. Like you should have known this. Like, oh, like why are you so like we almost get like offended by their surprise or they're not like their ability to their whatever to that they can't deal with it. It's almost like shocking to us, but we have to realize that they need time too. Like my parents who are so great with it now, it took them at least half a year to almost a year to really just deal with it and say they're okay with it. I'm sure
they're super supportive of you.
They're really supportive. Like my dad's expressed that he's not entirely happy, like, you know, but they're really supportive. They're okay with it basically.
There are things to help in the beginnings and stuff like that if your parents are I know my dad has gone through it and he's even headed it up. If you've all heard of it, it's called PFLAG. Parents and friends of gays and lesbians. But there's also did I say that right?
No.
Okay.
Flag.
Yeah. Okay.
So lesbians and gays.
Oh, whatever.
It's cool. You got the title.
I was never good with
it's the same thing. PFLAG.
Alright. I was never good with the spelling acronym things anyway. But I don't know, my dad kinda did it for a while and then he went through it for a while when I first came out as lesbian. Then when he came out, he actually started heading it up and being in charge of it. And now, for the last couple of months, now that I've been like out to him a second time as transgender, he's kind of been going again as a participant to kind of understand it more. There are lots of parents who are in PFLAG who have not only gay or lesbian sons or daughters, but also genderqueer or transgender or intersex like kids or friends.
Something I highly suggest for families, just if not PFLAG, something similar like a support group. Definitely help my family to just be around different other people who've gone through it before, who've gone through it, and they can say that they're happy, that they're living in, a relatively like a good life. And that was it's really hopeful for parents to see that, just that other people have done it and been through it, and there's hope in that journey. I think is an important thing for families to see. Because I think a lot of the, especially for parents, a lot of the just kind of opposition that they have when you come out, especially as transgender, is that they're afraid for you. They fear for you that, you're going to face a lot of hate in the world and a lot of just, bad things. Like, there's already a lot of bad stuff in the world. To have to deal with more, to have all that on you is, it's not fair, but I think that's a big thing for parents, is that they care about you and they're worried that you're going to have to face all that. So, yeah, it's a good thing for them to see some kind of hope, some kind of light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. That they know that, other people have done this, so my kid can make it through this kind of thing.
Like everyone was saying, it'll take some time for your parents. So just kind of be mindful of that, I guess. I know it's hard. The things that got myself through it were just my friends, certain family members, and to tell you the truth, a lot of movies and books. Those were definitely a lot of my saviors. well as just writing and playing sports and that sort of stuff. There's definitely a lot of LGBTQI or QQI movies, especially if you go to like if you have Rasputin's in your area. They have a whole section, and one thing that's helped me a lot recently is like transgender books or movies, especially the happy ones, and just kind of things that kind of relate to my life or the way it's fake stuff that's gonna be happening through the transition.
Is there anything else? This video is getting a little
Like we have so much we could talk
ridiculously
about.
long.
Yeah,
There's so much we
it's
could.
so long.
I think what we accidentally did there was we kind of like went
Should
to
talk.
we went
Went
into
into-
family, which like is a whole other step, like more than the holidays. So yeah. So basically, don't forget to comment and email us.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if y'all want in the comments, just tell us like maybe a little mini story about your family, what you're planning to do for the holidays. Are you going home for the holidays? Is there anything else we could do to support you? Because holidays are generally a hard time, especially for LGBT youth. So, yeah. So, I guess we'll see y'all next week. Or no, not next week. Next week's
No.
Thanksgiving.
When we get back after Thanksgiving.
Ta-ta for now.
Mm-hmm.
Ta-ta for now.
We hope to hear from you if you have any questions or things that you even just want us to talk about.
Email
Yes. Or comment.
our comment or just I don't know. You can hit us up in our YouTube message box, whatever, or call Lexi.
Yeah.
Oven, oven, cheese.
Okay.
You
Peace
do like
out.
cheese. That's
Peace
the
out.
thing.
Peace out.
Bye,
Bye.
oven. I need
Was this-
something to drink.
Alright, I'm turning it off.